Welcome to another edition of History's News, the only news program where we bring you a reporter live in the field from major historical events. How do we do it, you might ask? Well, that's none of your business. Anyways, I'm your host, Bababadoboo, and today we are traveling back to the year 1775, back to the start of the Revolutionary War and Lexington Green. Our reporter in the field, he's new, he's fresh, he's ready to go. It's Johnny Johnson. Johnny, what can you tell us about the situation there at Lexington Green?
Hi, Bob. Yeah, wonderful to be here. I am standing here on Lexington Green in Lexington, Massachusetts. The date is April 19th, 1775, and one of the most important battles in our nation's history just took place right here. The first battle of the Revolutionary War. A couple hours ago, about 700 British regulars and about 70 colonial militia met here right on this green. After the first shot was fired, by nobody knows who, a short battle happened. The militia fled and the British continued their march onto Concord, with both sides reinforcing as they went.
Wow, those militias were really outnumbered at first there, John. Fantastic start to the report. But I must ask, why Lexington Green? It seems kind of random, you know? Why not someplace cool, like New York City? There's a lot to do in New York City. Or maybe San Diego. At least there you can get a tan.
Well, Bob, it's 1775. There is no Los Angeles. There's no America yet, even. You know, we're still the 13 original colonies, which is why we're having this conversation about the Revolutionary War. But I think you knew that. Never mind. So, Lexington. Why are they going to Lexington and Concord? Well, there are two main reasons. First, they wanted to seize weapons and ammunition that they thought the colonial militia were stockpiling in that area. Also, they wanted to arrest two very important sons of liberty in John Hancock and Samuel Adams.
Wow, I wish my mom's name was Liberty. Those Sons of Liberty sound pretty cool. Me and my brother are just Sons of Susan. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it, don't you think, John?
Bob, the Sons of Liberty were an organization that was trying to overthrow the British government. It's not just based on whatever your mom's name is. How did you get this job?
Well, that's a fantastic question, John, but you should know it's my dad's news station. So, what happened after the forces met on Lexington Green?
Well, after the forces met on Lexington Green, a shot was fired by nobody knows who. And to this day, it's still one of the great mysteries of the Revolutionary War. Then the colonial militia fled, and the British continued their march onto Concord.
I see, very interesting there, John, but I have one question. How did the other militia know where to join the fight? Was there a group chat, perhaps, or did somebody post it on Facebook?
No, Bob, it's 1775 still. There are no cell phones. There's not even electricity, man. Like, what? Oh, never mind. So many militia were able to join the fight because they were warned by Paul Revere and his Midnight Riders. Once they found out the British were leaving Boston, they rode all throughout the area warning people that the British were coming. This gave them time to join the fight in Lexington and Concord from far away, and it also gave them time to move those weapons and ammo that I talked about earlier. Lastly, since Sam Adams and John Hancock were also warned, they were able to escape without getting caught. Which is pretty cool. But you don't have any questions about that? Huh? Don't worry about it, Bob. I'm just going to keep going, all right? As the British made their way on to Concord, they started to meet heavy resistance from the militia, who were not fighting on the open road, but rather being a little sneaky, firing from behind walls, trees, and any place that they could find cover. A big battle happened in Concord on the North Bridge, and the militia eventually were able to push the British back, which was a massive victory because at this time, you know this, Bob, I'm sure, the British were the most powerful army in the world. So being beaten by a group of farmers and untrained militia was a huge win for the confidence of the colonials.
John, I'm getting conflicting reports from my sources that there are a lot of lobster at Lexington and Concord. Is this true? And if so, can you bring me back some for me and the wife, Susie? particularly with melted butt. I love melted butt.
Lobster? No. Bob, I think what you are referring to is the nickname that the colonials gave the British soldiers, which is lobster backs, all right? And they said that because the colonials used to make fun of them for having these really bright red uniforms. Now, interestingly enough, those really bright red uniforms made it very easy for the militia to spot, see, and fire upon the British soldiers while they were in the forest, because they weren't camouflaged at all. They were super easy to see, and the colonials could just duck from behind trees and stones and walls and everything like that and fire upon these really, really easy to see red uniforms. So lobster backs, it's not actual lobster, their uniforms were just red, like a lobster.
I'm having trouble telling if that's a yes or a no there, John. Can you speak plainly? No, you know what, never mind. We'll talk after the show, all right? So, we're wrapping this up here, John. We're almost out of time. Put a bow on it there, young sir. Tell us, what does it all mean? Why should anyone really care about Lexington and Concord?
Other than like everything I've already said, right? Yeah, got it. Okay. So this is an extremely important battle, Bob, because it is the first battle of the Revolutionary War. Not only that, the colonials won the battle, which was a massive upset. The British were the most powerful force in the entire world at this point. And the fact that a couple upstart colonials could push them back and win a battle gave them a ton of confidence going into the next few years of the Revolutionary War. It made them believe that we can actually do this. We can fight the British. And it was the first step into actually making that happen.
All right, I think I'm getting it, John. You're making the history come to life. Thank you so much for that wonderful reporting, John, and please don't forget the melted butt.
Yeah, Bob, I just want to thank you for having me.
And thank you again for joining us here tonight, everybody, for another great edition of History's News. I'm your host, Bababadoboo, and we hope to see you next time when we put a reporter live in the field from a certain yard in history. Good night, everyone.